First, we start in Major League Baseball. What a day it was in Chicago. You get Caleb Williams first overall. You still find your way to Roma Dunze with your second top 10 pick at 9th overall. The future of your franchise finally looks optimistic in the Windy City. And the future looks bright for the Chicago Cubs as well. In his Major League Baseball debut, a name you heard here yesterday as we looked at the NL Rookie of the Year odds, Pete Crow-Armstrong, PCA for Chicago, a 2-run blast, his first MLB career hit in the bottom of the 6th at Wrigley, a 2-run home run DRS that was the game-winning home run. Chicago scores all 3 of its runs in the home half of the 6th inning, capped off by that 2-run blast from Pete Crow-Armstrong. Remember the name, Cubbies faithful will.
Look, man, PCA, little PDA into the seats yesterday for our guy with a blast into right field. Absolutely amazing. This is how you want to start your career, off on the right foot. And also, we like what the Chicago Cubs are doing. Bellinger down, injury, doesn't matter. They pick up that victory now 15-9, which includes 10-3 in the friendly confines of Wrigley Field. Now, as we want to talk about the Cubs and their chances to win the NL Central, well, I'll tell you right now, and as Yogi Berra used to say, it's getting late early at this point right now in the Astros. I don't know how much longer you want to wait because that price point is getting better every day, but you're also digging more dirt on yourself every day as well for the Astros.
So that's the question. It has to be the question, right? It's April 26th. It's still April in Major League Baseball. We haven't even hit the summer. But May's around the corner. We're going to see the calendar flip next week. When does the panic button start to emerge past surface level? It's getting late early, but it's not all that late, and it's still very early. But Houston is 7-19. The Astros, the pennant favorites in the American League entering this 2024 Major League Baseball season, are 7-19. They're 12 games below 500. They have the worst record in a division that features the Angels and the A's. And the Astros are worse than them. The 4th worst record in all of MLB, 2nd worst in the American League, and nobody's catching the Chicago White Sox for that unfair distinction. Houston is struggling. Donnie, can you point to a reason? Are you truly concerned at this point that Houston is 7-19?
Yes, and, again, every day that goes by, particularly, let's just say early in the season. Now, the one thing you have to remember about the Major League Baseball season is these games count the same in April that they do in September. It's not like you get to the power bar or the money ball and say, hey, man, every win you get's worth 2 points here as opposed to 1 point once you get into September. So you continue to bury yourself. It's going to be hard to get out of this. But you can't point to one thing. Like Jose Altuve is having a great season. Only went 1 for 4 yesterday, but leading off at 346. He's the catalyst for the rest of that team. It's not as if they're getting horrendous pitching on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. They're just losing close ball games day-to-day, which all add up. 7-19 on the season. Not something we look for because coming into the season, you're looking at the roster going, okay, let me get this straight. Grade 1 through 9. Starting pitching always comes around to Houston. Right. You wait for some guys to come off the IL and help you about midsummer. Maybe you make a trade or a move there. And a dominant back end of the bullpen, which is one of those traits that Houston always has. So even if you're not playing great baseball, 2 out of the 3 are probably going to be on a night-to-night basis. Now it looks like nothing is working on a day-to-day basis, which includes going to Wrigley where you're supposed to get runs. Now, granted, the Cubs only got 3. You got 1. You got 4 hits. It's not working out right now for the Astros.
Yeah, and I don't really know exactly how Houston alleviates these issues. Of course, Framber Valdez with an elbow injury. He is the ace of the staff. Yeah. He's not going to be there for some time. They still await the return of the veteran in Justin Verlander. But again, have we hit rock bottom and it's only up? I do think there is value on Houston to make the postseason, just to make the playoffs, is plus 102. Yes, they have dug themselves a large hole even this early in April, being 7-19. Plus 102 to be one of the 6 teams in the American League, even in a wild card spot, does make a little bit of sense to me. Nobody, by the way, is running away with it in the American League West at this moment. The Rangers lost yesterday. The Mariners won in that divisional duel. Now Seattle, the only team with a winning record in the AL West, and they're 1 game above 500. The Astros, who were the preseason favorites to win the pennant in the AL, now a plus 650 price. That's the 4th best number. Again, there is value on Houston. You have to expect some positive regression. I think that playoff price makes a little bit of sense. So that's been a surprise to start this year, how bad the American League West has been, led by the team that was expected to win the division. That would be the Houston Astros. A pleasant surprise, though, the American League Central. 3 teams above 500. including the upstart Kansas City Royals, 16-10 now for KC. They win a rain-shortened game yesterday at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, 2-1 over the Toronto Blue Jays. It was a downpour yesterday between KC and Toronto. Only 5 innings, but the Royals do get their 16th win of the year.
Yeah, and you'll take it there. And also, you want some of that home cooking, right? Like, hey, we have the lead. Maybe if they're down 2-1, it's like, hey, we can wait all night long for this game to actually finish up to give us a pretty good chance to get back into it. Reagan's has been very good this year, technically, right?
Yeah.
Comes back yesterday with a couple innings pitched, 3.90. So now on that south side of a 4 ERA, a guy that's supposed to be doing big things in that lineup. Barrios wasn't bad. 5 innings pitched, 2 earned runs. It was 2-1. It was a 5-inning game. You get a little bit lucky here, but in the length of a season, you'll take that. You don't have to burn your bullpen.
Yep.
You pick up the victory. You live to fight another day. Good start to the season for Kansas City. 5 games over 500 in April, and not just early April, late April here. Let's see what the Royals got.
KC, again, 16-10 right now, but in second in the American League Central. Why? Cleveland Guardians have the best record in the American League, second best in all of the bigs, only behind the Atlanta Braves. The Guardians bounce back at home against the Boston Red Sox after getting blanked the day prior by the Sox. They score 6 runs to win 6-4 over Boston. They scored 5 of those runs in the home half of the second, capped off, of course, by Jose Ramirez. A grand salami yesterday in the land. Cleveland holds on for that 6-4 win over Boston. The Brewers knock off the Pirates for their second consecutive victory, a 4-game series split between the Buccos and the Brew Crew. The Phillies get a big win, 5-0 over the Reds, and the Dodgers take care of business against the Nationals. A good start for Yoshi Yamamoto.
Yeah, no, some interesting things going along in Major League Baseball. If you do look at the Phillies, they're bouncing back at a victory over the Reds, but also one of the best pitching staffs in Major League Baseball resides in Philadelphia. Take a look at Zach Wheeler yesterday. 6 innings pitched, 1 hit, no earned runs, 8 Ks. He did have 4 walks in that one. Bryce Harper getting back into the lineup, and dad strength, hitting a home run right away. That's a good performance for the Philadelphia Phillies, who, by the way, I believe right now they might have, it's either 1 short or 1 more shutouts this year by their starting pitching staff and bullpen. They did all of last year, and we're only in April, so maybe some good things ahead for the Phillies.
A strong staff for the Phils, 16-10 for Philadelphia. Atlanta's won 3 in a row, though. The Braves, the best record in baseball, 17-6.